What's happening, guys? Episode 3. Again, who knew we would make it this far? Obviously, we're just off the back of a draw against Livingston at home. Livingston on a good run of form. You know, hadn't lost. They'd won the last 8 games. Obviously, you know, looking at the stats of the game, looking at performance, what's everybody's thoughts on the draw, the fact they weren't able to score?
Well, I think it's a positive result. You know, it's a Livingston side that's unbeaten and won on the last 8 games, and we've came away with a point. We are a team that's not our probably full strength, but it's definitely not a full strength team.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that you can look at it from sort of positives and negative sides. You know, as you say, the positive is, you know, they've won their last 8 games. If I'm right in thinking as well, they're unbeaten in their last 12. They're unbeaten in their last 12 apart from one. So
they're not unbeaten in their last 12.
No, but you know what I mean. You look over that last sort of 12, 13 games. They've lost 1 game. You know, it's quite a impressive record for a team that's sort of been overachieving the last sort of couple of years. And you're right in saying, obviously, we didn't play a full strength squad for obvious reasons. I think one of the big talking points is the fact that we played most of, if not all of the game without a natural striker.
We played, well, he didn't come on to at least, I think it was the 80th minute he came on. It was the 78th minute or something, Flex came on. He had one chance I think he went in with his right foot. If he'd taken that with his left foot, it was a goal every day of the week. He was unlucky with that one, I felt.
I think as well, you look at the subs, as we said, obviously, before we sort of started this, you know, he made 2 substitutions. Rules state that you're allowed 5. The first one he done, now I know obviously Henderson in the Europa League came on for, was it in the Europa League he came on for Frimpong right wing?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Against Lille?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So he's obviously played in that sort of attacking role before. I don't see him as an attacking player, and I think personally the change to take off Mikey Johnson, who wasn't having his best game, to bring on a more defensive minded player was probably the wrong move.
Definitely. I'd have brought on a Cameron Harper and an Flex or a Karamoko Dembele at that point in the game where we had nothing to lose really. We just had to go for it and try and get the 3 points. And if the league wasn't done before, that's it done now. That's just, I think it's 23 points behind tomorrow once Rangers inevitably get their 3 points. And
I mean, they're away to Motherwell. I know they're on good form. You know, they've won the last 15, but it's not really a guaranteed win. I know a lot of people would say it is, but it's not. You know, I agree in saying that, you know, the league's over. I would, a part of me, a very, very small part of me, still thinks that we can bring it back. You know, stranger things have happened. All it takes is for them to go on a bad run of games.
But if they're going to go on a bad run, I think the bad run would have been against us at home, and then Aberdeen away and Motherwell away. But I really don't see them doing anything, like having any troubles the rest of the season now.
Yeah, I don't see them dropping points anytime soon. They're just smashing teams in there.
I mean, I hate to say it, but they might go invincible this season, which would be devastating.
I don't. Just come back to what you said there, Kyle. They're smashing folk. I don't think they are, personally. You know, and you get a lot of folk that give you stick for watching, you know, the rivals and that. I don't see an issue with it personally because, you know, you support a team in that league, you're allowed to watch the opposition play, or your competition, should I say. I think over the last 6-7 games, Rangers have actually looked quite shaky. I don't think they've looked anything special, and we kind of proved that when we went away to them. Until we went down to 10 men.
With them being shaky, they're still getting the 3 points, they're still scoring goals, and that is a sign of champions. That's what wins you leagues when you're not in your best form, but still getting your 3 points.
That's the style we had under Brendan.
Yeah.
Even last season.
Very true, very true. I mean, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, St Mirren beat them. It's only a matter of time before, somebody does end up breaking them down. I mean, the issue, it's a big issue in Scottish football, is that, you score a goal and you sit back, and the likes of, maybe not this season, but Celtic and Rangers are the types of teams that are able to break you down. And that's the problem. You look at when we played them, they didn't have a shot on target, which kind of makes it a bit even more, bittersweet that they beat us due to an own goal. But it shows you what happens when you go at them rather than scoring a goal and then sitting in.
Yeah.
They
weren't expecting us to go and do that to them and put them under pressure right from kick off, and I think they were just a bit shell shocked. But
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you look at our form. I say our form. Sort of the
6 wins in 20.
Yeah.
Form.
But the run up to the game against Rangers, right? We were doing quite well for maybe 3-4 games. We'd won the Scottish Cup. I know that was a draw and we won it on penalties, but we still won the trophy regardless. We then went to Rangers and actually put in a really good performance. And then, from there, everything sort of went downhill. In my opinion, when the players are back, obviously there's a lot of fingers to be pointed at the manager and the boardroom staff and that for what's happened recently. But I think the players, when they come back, have got a big point to prove, which could see us go on a bit of a run and spur the team on a bit.
Hopefully, because that's what we need now. We need somebody to sort of take the team forward. Like a stand-up player to go, have his few stand-up performances to get the team's confidence up, and then go for it.
When is it they're out isolation? Is it tomorrow?
It's Sunday,
yeah. Do you reckon that I don't think they'll start the full team.
No, they won't be fit enough, surely.
Nah. Some players, maybe.
I mean, at the end of the day, we've seen through the first lockdown, a lot of players have got home gyms and that, ways of keeping themselves fit. I mean, that's exactly what they were instructed to do when football was stopped initially. So, I'm not being funny. They weren't playing football for what, a good 3-4 months then, maybe a bit longer. So if they're in isolation for 10 days and they're not match fit by the time it comes to Wednesday, we've got a bit of a problem on our hands. I'm not going to lie.
See today watching the game.
No, fire on, mate.
See today watching the game. Did you feel with a game plan at any sort of time, or do you think it would just go out and see what happens?
I think there was a game plan. I just don't think it went to plan.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It started from the lineup. It started from not playing a striker. What it looked like was we went out to play a defensive game and hopefully hit them on the counter attack, which, I'm not being funny, is most definitely not the way I want to see my team playing football. That's how you expect teams like Livingston to come to us and play.
No, they really wanted it today. At some points it looked like they wanted it more than we wanted it. Yeah.
It's not being funny. I genuinely thought Effie Ambrose was so close to scoring the winner.
Oh, see that? That blasted. I imagine that going in top corner. Wee mate's going against us.
Oh, mate, I'm not even joking. Right? I don't even think I could be angry if that happened. I'd be angry at the team, but I couldn't be angry at Big Effie.
Aye, he done his wee backflips and front flips and all that, cartwheels. So maybe angry.
Oh man, that would be bittersweet. obviously going on to a couple of things that have been in the news. Well, not really in the news, but a couple of papers and that. The likes of Cameron Harper. I mean, back maybe a few months ago, there was talk, obviously, Karamoko Dembele leaving the club. But obviously, the big one is Cameron Harper just now. I mean, we've obviously went to offer him a new contract, and obviously, he's American. Club in America seen him and thought, let's give the guy a contract. And apparently he's in advanced talks. Now, Cameron Harper obviously said to us that he wants assurance of first team football.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on all that?
Well, I've done a bit of research on them. Not as much research, there's little known about him, to be honest. But I'd read in a Celtic news blog that he was rated higher by the coaches than Karamoko Dembele ever has been. And when you've got someone like that, you surely think that he's the one you want to tie down a long-term contract. So he will be that big player that everyone's expecting him to be. So he's
just
quoted.
Game time.
Exactly, he's quoted having a good work rate, focus, and he's a very skillful player. He can play left wing, right wing, and up top.
Yeah, you obviously say in regards to his work rate. I mean, he was expected to do a lot on his debut against Hibs, but I actually think that when you talk about his work rate, it's pretty bang on. I mean, he was running for fun against Hibs. He was trying to look to make things happen. And as I say, you're asking a lot for a guy that's, I say 19-year-old. Now, this is the problem for me, is that you look at the likes Odds and Edward, you look at all your big name players, your Mbappes. I mean, I'm not obviously going to categorise Cameron Harper in the same line as Mbappe because of how big he is, but you look at all these players that have come through at the age of 18, 19, 20, and are superstars right now in football. Cameron Harper, 19-year-old, and he just made his debut for Celtic. Is it a bit too late to be looking at it from the perspective of, because I'm not being funny, we can't just drop a striker to put him in.
No.
Obviously, Edward's a bit off form. You can maybe look at bringing him out, but at the same time, you've got Ayeti and Klamala who you've recently signed. You've spent money on signing, who, I'm not being funny, are in front of Cameron Harper in the pecking order for getting a start. So you can't just drop. The reason I'm not bringing Griffiths into the conversation is because he's the only striker that's scoring goals just now. His place in the team will not, it is going nowhere. Yeah. But you can't be dropping or not considering three strikers just because a 19-year-old says that, I want reassurance that I'm going to get game time.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he would take that 10 minutes off the bench every second, every third game, so he can build up his game time, get a few goals, and then maybe start a few games, get another few goals. I'm pretty sure that's all we need to do to keep him, but it's whether we're committed to doing that.
So what's the thoughts on? So this was another line that I was thinking. Obviously, you say that we're all thinking right now because of where he was played against Hibs. We're all thinking striker. As you say, you can play left wing, you can play right wing. Left wing's not so much an issue at the moment. You've got Elian Hussein, you've got Mikey Johnson. Right wing. I mean, apart from Forrest, who's your right winger? We don't know when James Forrest is going to be fully match fit. So
we've got Karamoko Dembele, who's in the same position as Cameron Harper.
Yeah, that's true. But the difference between Harper and Dembele is, and I know Dembele, you're sort of looking at it going, you don't want to let this guy go. But as you're saying, if the coach hasn't said that Cameron Harper is rated higher, he's also 19, so he's starting to reach sort of his middle sort of peak fitness and peak physical level. Yeah. Whereas Karamoko Dembele has been known for not being the most physical. Don't get me wrong, he'll take a challenge and he'll get up and keep going. We've seen it on 2 occasions now. But surely in that situation, you would maybe look to give Cameron Harper more of a chance than Karamoko Dembele in that right wing spot.
It also depends what one wants to leave more as well. What one's set to leave more. If one maybe can be persuaded to stay, might come down to that as well.
Well, yeah, that's very true. I mean, if I was to put it on the table for you right now and say, who are you keeping? Are you keeping Cameron Harper or are you keeping Karamoko Dembele? Who are you choosing?
It's a hard decision.
Me
I'd
personally,
probably
I'm
put
keeping
it really hard.
Karamoko.
Well, he's younger. He's got much more time ahead of him to work his way into the team.
That's right.
Ah,
yeah.
he's what, like 4 year, 3 year
He's
younger.
17, he's 17, so he's 2 years younger than Harper.
I'd keep him then. More time, as Billy said, to improve and get better.
But at the same time, so you look at the flip side of that, you're looking for somebody that you want to implement or try and make an impact within the first team with immediate effect.
I wouldn't say it'd be, if you want first team, Harper or Karamoko haven't had enough opportunities to prove that they should be in that first team yet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not good enough, but they need more opportunities to go and prove. Because you can't, personally now, you can't go and say Harper deserves over Karamoko. Karamoko played 10 minutes on Monday there. They never featured at all today. So. Yeah,
and then obviously you look back to last season, Karamoko against Hearts, he had a really good performance on the right. I think what's sort of pushing Celtic away from giving him the opportunity is his physicality. Harper, okay, he's a skinny lad, but he's not, he's not the smallest of height wise. He put up a few good battles against Hibs as well. You know what I mean? He had 3 players around him at one point. He's quite happy to take pressure. But then you look at the flip side, Karamoko, he'll get the ball and take it past 3 guys and then look for something. So they've both obviously got different attributes that are useful to the team. The question is obviously whether both of them stay or not.
Yeah, in an ideal world, they would both stay. Yeah,
I think worst case scenario is that obviously they both leave. That's where we're going to sort of take a kick in the balls for there.
I can actually see that happening. I know for a fact that would happen. The Celtic they cannot hold on to players
with high potential, especially.
Aye.
I mean, the only way they can be good is become good.
You give them game time.
Exactly, if you give them game time, and Celtic don't do that. Look at Callum Gregor. He wasn't 21. He was properly in that team. Look how good a player he's turned out to be for us. And
same with Forrest.
Exactly.
Forrest, I think, he only had 7 years, maybe 6-7 years when he's been in the first team consistently.
Yeah.
So there you're looking at 22, 23, before he got his opportunity.
Yeah.
For some reason, Celtic like to sign players. I mean, I don't have an issue with Celtic signing players, we usually moan when they don't. But I think what they forget is they look to sign players in positions that we have youth players that have high potential. So, for example, you look at, don't get me, and in no way am I saying we shouldn't have signed Turnbull or Sorrell, because I think they've rejuvenated the squad. I think there's been a massive difference since they came in. But you look at, you've got the likes of Luke O'Connell, you've got the likes of Henderson, Cal McGregor's still a good age. You've got Rogic, who he's more of an impact player, but he's still he can still do a job. And then you've got all the likes of you're in Chams and that they just need to be put aside and off you go, mate. I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that Celtic don't always have youth team and first team training together. They've got a youth coach for that reason. But I think it would be beneficial for the youth players if they had mentors. So, like, for example, Ewan Henderson, Scott Brown mentored him. Scott Brown's coming to the end of his career, so the best thing he can do is mentor somebody.
Yeah.
Callum McGregor, he's a future captain. Mentor somebody. Well, let's say a future captain. He pretty much is the captain now, but you know what I mean? He's going to be captain for a good few years. So the best opportunity is for the youngsters is to mentor, to mentor these for the older guys to mentor them. It's going to give them a lot of sort of what's the word I'm looking for? mental impact. You know, they're going to be more focused. That their head's going to be in the game more, and then that's when it relies on mentor feedback to the coaches and to the manager to say, right, I actually think he's ready for a bit of game time. So like Forrest is 29-year-old, have him mentoring Karamoko Dembele. Right, I think he's maybe ready for a bit of game time. You could start seeing him getting the odd 20-30 minutes, which is going to benefit not only the club but the individual as well.
Yeah, well.
I would definitely need to start getting some of the older guys to mentor the younger guys, definitely, because it will impact their career without a doubt.
They also give them confidence as well, knowing that they've got a top-class Celtic player helping them out and helping them improve.
Gives them something to look up to, you know what I mean? Gives them
Yeah.
more to work for.
It also means that they, in their head, they're thinking, oh, I'm being looked at, you know what I mean? Like somebody's actually reporting, you know, they're not just under the radar. Like Karamoko's sat on the bench countless amount of times for Celtic and never even blinked an eye and went, oh, you fancy a game, mate? You know what I mean? Every time it's just been nah. Like we've needed a goal and we bring on Champ.
Yes.
I'm not being funny. If I need a goal, and Karamoko's not played that much for us, so a lot of us, you know, we're basing opinions off what we know and what we've seen when he's played. But I think the point from the youth team is these guys have got a point to prove. You know, they want game time. Nobody wants to sit on the bench and not play football. These guys want to come out and make a difference. They want to show why they're ready for first team football. And I think with 5 months left of the season, I think this is Celtic's biggest opportunity to, you know, if you're going to offload the guys, if you don't want them at the club, play them so that their value increases.
Yeah.
That's your two options. If you want them to sign a new contract, you play them. If you want to ship them off for a bit of cash, you play them.
So the way it's looking like, we have Karamoko leaving for free end of the season, so Cameron Harper. And they'll probably go to big clubs. Well, Harper will be away to New York. But Borussia Dortmund could come in for Karamoko. They've been interested for a few years. He'll go to Borussia Dortmund, develop, and he'll probably be a top player in Europe.
100%, mate.
Yeah,
We've missed out on it.
And
If we lose these two for free, we're missing out, man.
Definitely.
Missing out in so much.
I even think like Okoflex as well. I know he's not looked great when he's came on. He does look a bit slow, but again, that comes down to match fitness. You know, these players have been brought into the first team on 24 hours notice, and then they've only had 4 days worth of training with a first team coach. You know, their football was stopped prior to this, so you know a lot of these boys haven't trained, but their schedule will be reduced because of restrictions.
Yeah.
So even like Okoflex, who at the time, you go back to sort of when Dembele was, you know, there was all the YouTube when he was 15 2 years ago. The link-up play between him and Okoflex was next level. You know, they were the two highest talked about guys in the youth league. So even though like Okoflex, if he goes, you know, I know we brought him in from Arsenal. But even if you know what I mean, so there's a prime example. You've brought a player in at youth level to develop him and play him, and he doesn't get a game.
I feel sorry for them, because what else can they do? I mean, you can't say they're not good enough, because look at Turnbull and Sorrow. When they weren't playing, people were saying that's not because they're not good enough. And they've come in and they've changed their midfield around. It's a lot more positive in midfield. So it's what can they do? Because probably mind baffling.
Yeah, it's, you know what, you can sit and discuss what needs to be changed for hours and hours and hours on end. I think a lot of it, again, we spoke about this last week. We need a manager with a new philosophy, somebody that likes to give youth a chance. You know, yeah, exactly. I would absolutely love to see a Celtic team built on youth. You know, young players coming through the academy. But see, this is where the problem comes in. We're built on value, or say, you know, from a fan's perspective, we're built on values where youth youth players barely get a chance. So this is why we moan when the club don't sign players, because we're not giving young players a chance. So we need to buy to replace positions that we feel need to be sorted. For example, centre back. Stephen Welsh has played 7 times this season, 7 times, and
I think so.
He's been outstanding every game.
Has been.
His lack of experience has maybe made him look a bit off pace, but I don't think there's many games where you could have faulted his performance. So there's another youth player. We let that boy go off to Bayern Munich, that centre half. You know, it could have been somebody that we could have used right now. So you either change your values in the club, you know, you give youth players a chance, or you're going to still have, you know, the fans on top of you telling you need to buy players. I mean, we were in the market for a centre half, like we said last week, you know, or, sorry, just the last one there. The 2 centre halves that we went for are interested and both went to Belgium. I could understand if they, you know, maybe went to a mid-tier German side or somebody that had a chance of European football, or you know, like somewhere in France or Italy or somewhere like that. But you know, when players are starting to turn you away or turn away and be like, nah, you know, right, I don't want to come to your club. A lot of it you don't have, you know, you don't have a choice but to look at the youth level. Yeah. And I think the last couple of games has proved that. You know, okay, we've not got the results we've wanted, but at the end of the day, obviously Hibs was a very late goal, and it was through no fault of the youth lads. So effectively, you know, you've kept a clean sheet today. You've stopped a team that are on an 8-win run streak. Okay, you've not scored, but you've not played with a striker. And then you look at the Hibs performance. As I say, it was the first game they played together. It was on 24 hours notice. Every single one of them played their hearts out. Obviously, Turnbull, I know he's a signing, but he's still, you know, quite a young player, made a difference. And then it was actually the more experienced guy that went and fucked it for us.
Although, saying that about Lax out there, don't think tonight he was one of our better players. I was really impressed with him tonight. I felt like he wasn't as good as when he first came in against, I think it was Lille away. But he's certainly better than he has been in recent weeks. I was quite impressed.
Yeah.
He was getting stuck in, to be fair.
Aye.
He was really getting in about that striker or whatever.
I think he was about the only one. I don't know. Again, there isn't really much, and I don't know about you, but there isn't really much I could fault from today, apart from, again, the final ball, which even with a full squad has been an issue all season, and not being able to find the net.
Although Tony Ralston put a good ball in for
how we missed that, I have no idea, mate. How that did not get buried.
But if that was Eduardo,
challenge that he got booked for, that was probably one of the best challenges I've seen all season.
Exactly, that was a good challenge because it was both feet off the ground or whatever the new rule is.
But the way it was, so Ralston's obviously went in for the challenge. He's not went into it both feet off the ground. He's went in for a normal challenge. It's the way the guy was running. He's obviously like hit Ralston's leg and spun Ralston, which has caused his leg to come up from underneath him and scissor the guy.
Yeah. Look, Ralston, who he actually played alright today. I was expecting a performance of full mistakes and
considering he wasn't good enough for St Johnstone.
Yeah. I was just expecting it to be awful when he was subbed off at half time, but he was actually lasted the full 90 minutes and he put a good ball in. And I couldn't really fault him, in all fairness.
Yeah, I don't think he's had many bad Celtic performances. Like, he's not had a lot of good ones either. The standout one was PSG, purely just because of him and Neymar faced off. Nothing to do with the performance, just that part done it for me. Like,
that's all he's remembered for. That photo with the face, with his mouth wide open, right in Neymar's.
Pure laughing at him.
Laughing at him after getting pumped 5-1 or something.
Just lets you know how good we were in Europe back then.
Mate, Celtic have always been diabolical in Europe. You know, well, not always, but you know,
recent years,
it's been horrific. I mean, I think the last time we were pretty consistent in Europe was Gordon Strachan's era, where we made 3 last 16s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that was the last time we made the last 16 of the Champions League, was it not?
No, because we
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Dennis Berghout first as a manager when we beat Barca.
Did we get the last 16 that year?
I could have got Juventus in the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. That's maybe why I didn't remember, because I didn't want to. Thanks for bringing back those memories, mate. Brilliant.
Just
on that note, I'm gone.
I want to change it a bit back to the beginning of the bill. Wednesday, just after we had uploaded our second podcast, it was Peter Lawwell had came out with an apology video. And to be honest, I kind of felt it wasn't an apology video, it was get it up, yeah, we went to buy, use never, give us our money for next season. I just wanted to know your opinions of it. And if you think that his time at Celtic's over and somebody else comes in.
I mean, I think the first thing they need to look at is put Peter Law in front of the general public, like the general media, rather than a Celtic FC interview, and then see where that takes him.
He'll get
crumble.
burned alive. And the video as well, there's so much editing in that. I would like to see the uncut, unedited version of that.
He's probably been told what to say.
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%,
definitely has.
The fact it's Jeremy Clark doing it, like you said, Damien, it's not a good light to shine.
Even if it wasn't scripted, right? What sort of questions are you going to turn around and ask the guy who pays your wages? You know what I mean?
I know.
You're not going to sit and ask him questions that the general media are going to ask him. Not a chance.
I know.
It's true, I never really thought about that one, to be honest.
Aye.
But still, well, we should get somebody else in to go and interview him. Get Sky Sports or STV Sports or whatever.
Aye, but that's the thing, but you can't trust any media. They always make up lies and
Aye, they spin it.
Aye, they stir the tea, you know what I mean? You can't trust it, sadly.
You know it's bad when even our own media's doing it, though.
I know.
Like, because that's basically what that's like.
Aye.
Oh, let's script an interview. That's like just twisting the media.
Mm-hmm. It's put it in the way you want it to be.
Yeah, let's make everybody happy. That's what they've done. Let's make everybody happy and apologise, but we'll also defend the fact that the team went. Now, I'm pretty sure I said it from day one. I didn't have an issue with the team going. They were allowed to go. They were given permission to go. So if they didn't go, I would have respected the decision. They did go. I respect the decision. What I don't respect is the fact that they've went over there and came back, and what's happened has happened. They should have went over there. They should have kept to their bubble. They should have followed all the guidelines, done their training camp, and came home. That's it. They shouldn't have took an injured player over.
That's the thing, right? See if they actually did go there just to train and never just went to sit by a pool with a pint. I wouldn't mind. You know what I mean?
But that they could have been sitting there for 10 minutes for all we know, and somebody's just grabbed a photo, and that's it. A photo can have a million different meanings. It's
on the first night as well.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can understand them having a pint. Again, I don't really have an issue with that, because they could have a full day's training session and then go lounge by the pool and have a pint. But from my understanding, they were at a hotel that was accessible by the public. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a 5-star all.
So why would, again, going back to a bit of common sense, why would they not put up in a private villa?
I know, that would make more sense.
I actually seen something. It was like it cost 260 grand just to go there.
That's mental, But then you need to bear in mind that they're renting the training facility and all that as well.
Aye, I know.
And they chartered the flight as well.
Aye.
Yeah.
But coming back, do you think they stuck their bubbles? And if they did, because they claim to have stuck their bubbles, and if that's true, why are 4 strikers in the same bubble? I just don't understand that.
Because when you're doing training with strikers, your strikers are all going to train together.
Aye, but a
You
striker
can say
never
the same
tested
about
positive.
goalkeepers.
Well, that's true actually. Yeah, that's fair. Unless it is the same with goalkeepers, but they're obviously just telling porkies, you know.
Wouldn't even put it past them, to be honest.
No, would I, mate. I'm surprised. But then to be fair, if you look at it, if you're gonna turn and say, such and such is available, you're gonna look at if you're gonna lie about it, you're gonna at least say that one striker's available.
Yeah. I just because it's not like they were training with Julian. Julian was not training. So I mean, they're outside bubbles, like gathering, having a wee pint or sharing a room or whatever they've done. How not all 4 strikers should be with Julian if they're sticking to the bubbles.
What you've got to bear in mind though is they would have all been on the same flight.
So does that mean the full? But that's what I thought as well. But assuming they wear masks on the flight because that's the law, no matter if you're a football team or normal member of the public.
Yeah, but then you're looking at it from the perspective of you've got the same flight, you've got the same bus. You're going to and from the training ground. Like they're going to have everybody together in that.
But they had. I'm not saying this to be like wide or annoying, but they had 2 different buses. They had 2 minibuses. So then, by going on what you're saying, I'm not. Again, this isn't a dig at you. That means all 4 strikers are on the same minibus. When actually you could just put 2 in that bus and 2 in the other bus. Then if a COVID outbreak did happen, only one bus would have to isolate with half the strikers isolating, but half still fit.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. So when we first travelled, when they first went to Dubai, I didn't have an issue with it. But what I said was they should have used common sense. And again, that issue with the 2 minibuses, again, it comes down to using common sense.
Yeah.
You know? Obviously, there's nothing we can change now. It's just if players come out of isolation tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how they line up on Wednesday. I wish Gavin Strachan was taking charge of the team on Wednesday. I'm not going to lie.
Undefeated.
We called out for Lennon not to be there in the dugout, and we never won a game without Lennon in the dugout. So maybe they want Lennon back.
No, I don't.
Fair enough.
I want Greasy Gavin in my dugout on Wednesday.
Gavin Strachan's undefeated army.
Exactly, mate. Just going on to the next part though, like transfers and that as well. We've obviously covered it before, but I'm sort of looking at it a bit more in depth. As we say, obviously, Cameron and Harper's looking to go out. I mean, we're halfway through the transfer window now. What sort of signings are you guys looking for us to make? What do you think we need to improve the team and hopefully not necessarily bring it back this season because it's highly unlikely, but look to rebuild for next year?
Well, we need some sort of centre back or just anything to improve the
Yeah,
defence.
yeah. I seen Melissa interested in that Aston Villa youngster, Aaron Ramsey.
All right.
Does he play for you, mate?
As well,
No, I don't. Is his first name Aaron? I don't know if his first name's Aaron, but it's Ramsey.
It's Aaron Ramsey, aye.
His brother's got a different. So because folk were saying, is it no such and such, and that's his brother.
Aye. Nah, Ajax are interested in him as well, so he must be alright. You know what I mean? They've got some youth set up, so.
Aye, I think he'd be able to walk into our team and take Christie's spot.
Probably, aye. Mm-hmm.
Mate, I could walk into our team and take Christie's spot.
Wouldn't be happy.
See,
on the transfers, we've got 3 players on loan at us costing us 60 grand a week, and you can easily get a strong starting 11 without those 3 players with Laxalt, Duffy, and El Younisi no playing. Do you not think that's a bit of a waste of money?
For now I do, yeah. Obviously, if things were going our way, no, clearly. But I think now that you sort of look at it, season's over. Let's send the loan players back, and give guys that are going to be here next season an opportunity.
Yeah. Saves you 60 grand a week as well. You can recover from the Dubai trip with that.
Yeah, there you go. 3 weeks and you're sorted.
Aye.
Yeah, I mean, I think a centre back's the obvious one. I'd like to get another right midfielder in as well.
I would want to get a right midfielder only if he's same level as Forrest or just below, so that when Forrest is, obviously or better, but when Forrest is back, he's challenged, he's pushed to his limits.
I actually put this in the chat earlier on. Alan Forrest, he's on a good run of form just now. Mate, he's 24-year-old.
He's good. He's scored his 11 goals this season, I think it was.
11 goals, Millen Edward.
It's better than Edward.
Exactly. I'm not being funny, right? And a lot of people will shut it down, just like you did there yourself. But he's 24-year-old. He has obviously went through sort of, when he was younger, playing football with James, right? And Forrest's been one of our top players. Now, the only thing is Alan Forrest plays left mid.
Be better than Johnston.
Well, yeah, exactly. And so our left midfield is another position that we're looking at.
But if we play our narrow diamond, we don't need that width.
I'm telling you now, as soon as Forrest is back, we're going back to wingers. 100%. It's going to happen, mate. You're going to have a midfield three of Sorrell, Turnbull and McGregor.
Forrest out on the right and Elias on the left.
Exactly. And then you're going to be playing one striker. It's going to happen. I'm not being Lennon's going to come in. As soon as James Forrest is back fit, nobody's going to try and tell me that he's not going to think, well, this guy could make a difference to our season.
It's too late anyway.
Why does everybody judge James Forrest? I think he's honestly one of Celtic's best players, man. The guy is just, he's unreal when he's in the squad, do you know what I mean?
I think he's very much like Christie as well, though.
Yeah.
When he plays an extended amount of games, you're kind of like, come on, mate. Because it's repetition. He's doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it starts to get a bit boring. People start to work out what he's doing. Like every time Ryan Christie gets the ball and faces goal on the edge of the box, you know what's coming.
Yeah, I sure
it's the same with Forrest.
It's not until Forrest was injured you realise how actually important he was to the squad, how much he contributed.
Yeah, I used to think Forrest was overrated, wasn't good. I have my hands up, I'm wrong. We need him. You can see how much we need him.
I don't know. Yes, we need them, but that's purely because we need something to change. So I know we're obviously not in the situation, but if you think about it from this perspective, if Celtic were winning games and playing well, like we were 4 or 5 games onto the run up to playing Rangers, see, for those 4 or 5 games, nobody cared about James Forrest.
No.
You know? So if we can get playing like that week in, week out, Forrest comes back, if he changes that tactic up and we're playing well, folk are going to go mental.
Yeah. But it's a hard one because you, for Forrest going to the team, you do need to drop somebody. And it's who do you drop for Forrest? You play Forrest. But you drop Christie, right? So let's say, for example, you just put Forrest straight in. That leaves you with our line. If we go Turnbull, Kalmack, Sorrow and Christie, that leaves no left winger. So then you take another person out to go and put a left winger in. Most likely it.
Mate, it's not even a question.
But you need market value. You need Eddie to hit form, bag goals, bag some assists. Just do anything. Get some market value. So in the summer we can eventually sell him and get the £30 million we want for him.
That's the problem. He's not doing anything. So maybe a few games out would do him. Would benefit him. Kind of show you, look, mate. If you don't want to be here, we're not going to play you. You know, I know everybody's on about let's make money off him. But what team's going to look at him and go, he's getting worse wage, never mind better?
Then you can say that about the full team this year. The team, compare them to last season when we were doing the 3-5-2, just unstoppable. to this season and we don't know what formation we're playing and we don't know what the result will be against Hamilton. That's when you know something's not going right.
But then that's where you expect your big players to step up and make a difference.
Yeah,
like I know a lot of people say that the whole team's out of form, right? And yeah, he doesn't have the greatest performances, but there's one guy that literally stands out to me every week. Not necessarily plays well, but his work rate is phenomenal, and that's Callum McGregor. He will run for 90
what
minutes.
a shot he had today, by the way. I thought it was top corner.
Oh yeah, I mean he's always trying to make a difference, always.
Yeah.
He's always face the media after a bad result as well.
He does. He's always honest as well.
I think the only thing that he needs is the psychological advantage that Brown gives us. Put that into McGregor, and he is just another Brown. I reckon we shave his head and see what that does. Because it seems. Have you not noticed, right? Brown will grow his hair, blah blah blah. Comes to a game against Rangers 2 days before, that's it. The hair's gone.
Yeah.
It's time to go. You know what I mean? Like, we need another Brown character in the team, and I'm not saying McGregor doesn't bring a lot to the team, because he does. But I just don't think anybody, not necessarily McGregor, but anybody brings what a prime Scott Brown brings.
What about giving Ayer the captain? Would that be something you should do? If he gave Ayer captain, he would stay. If he thought about it like that.
I think Ayer will stay anyway.
I think.
Yeah, I think he's gone. The reason I don't think we're going to lose a lot of players in the summer, purely on the basis that the boys are going to want to turn it around. They're going to want to show that, okay, we fucked up big time last season. Now it's time to show that we are the champions in this country.
But if a big money comes in for Ayer, he said we'll get turned straight away. But he was definitely the one Lennon was talking about when he said there's some players that want to be here and they'll need to go. It was definitely directed at Ayer.
Mm-hmm. But that's it. I don't think his head will be turned. I think it's the board's head that will be turned.
Oh, of course.
Somebody comes in with 15, 20 million for Ayer, the board are going to be like, thanks, mate.
No, I think they would offer about 30 million for Ayer, do you not think?
No chance.
No.
Well, I would like to see us get that amount, but we won't. We'll be lucky to get that for Edward.
Oh, aye, definitely.
End of last
20 million.
End of last season, we'd have got 30 million, no bother. But I don't think Ayer's good. He's still relatively young. He's still got a bit of potential in him, but I don't think he'll ever reach the same heights that Kieran Tierney can reach. And Van Dijk, yeah. But we're going down the Tierney route because we've got 25 million for him. I don't think any Celtic player is going to go for more than what we got for Tierney.
It's because Tierney's an immense player.
Runs his heart out every game,
Yeah.
Gives his all every time he's on the pitch.
Well, Piers Morgan said if Arsenal had 10 more Kieran Tierneys, they would win that league. Because the passion he gives out.
Yeah, but Piers Morgan talks shite quite a lot of the time. I'm not saying he is talking shite, but he does talk shite a lot. I think personally Kieran Tierney is the best at what he does in his position. Sorry, second best, just behind Luca Digne. A lot of people going about Andy Robertson being the best left back in the world. I don't believe that for a second.
No, he's not. I'll get slammed for saying this, but he's a system player.
Yeah. Put him in Celtic and he wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the way they're playing just now without the likes of Van Dijk. Van Dijk strolls that league, mate.
Right. So Van Dijk left Celtic when he was 23, 24. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
2015, and he's like 29, 30 now. Christopher Ayer's 22. So be younger than Van Dijk. And he's, I would say, equally as impressive as Van Dijk was when he was at Celtic. So there's nothing to say that he can't go the way to be a world-class centre-back.
Yeah, I mean, but then how much did we get for Van Dijk? You know what I mean?
Nothing. Next nothing. 7.5 million, I think. Am I right in saying that?
I think you are, mate, yeah. Something like that.
And they
Well, we
went,
got more from the side than we did actually.
yeah. Wait, was that maybe the selling fee I'm thinking of that we got 7.5 million for?
Yeah, I think we were 12.5.
Yeah. Because he went for
Um,
75 million too.
Yeah, 13 million. He
13
moved in 2015.
Oh, that's quite
So
big
that's-
money back then for a Scottish Premiership player.
Yeah. I mean, what's that, 5 years ago? So he was 24 when he left.
24. You know, Irish 22.
So he's still got another couple of years. I reckon Irish with us next season.
I would hope he is.
I think you're looking at a back line of, and bear with me, Frimpong, Ayer, Julien, and Bolingoli.
Bolingoli.
100%.
You think he'd be allowed to walk back into that Celtic team?
What?
Yes. Mate,
I agree.
Bolingoli has been playing
Wow.
Champions League football this season.
Yeah, but that doesn't... He went completely behind our backs. He does not deserve to have a Celtic starting place.
Have you seen what the club's just done?
Played in the snow.
No, I mean, have you seen what the club's just done, mate? They've just went to
True.
Dubai and took an injured player. It was meant to be a training camp. Bolingoli is, done less than what the club as a whole has done.
Bolingoli went to Spain for a shag, mate.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Genuinely.
never told
Are you,
anyone.
telling me there's a
broke the
problem
law.
with that?
Celtic never
That's
broke the law.
worse.
I don't
I
think
mean,
that is
like, fair
worse.
play to the lad, but that's worse.
We took an injured player to a training camp. He went to get his hole. I'm sorry. An injured player that can't take place in a training camp and you've took him to a training camp is worse than going to get your hole.
No, because we never broke the law doing that. Because he broke the law doing that. Because he never quarantined or anything, then played the game.
We left when we were allowed to. It was just when we were there, we weren't allowed to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, out of the three left backs that we have, Laxalt, Bolingoli, and Greg Taylor, Bolingoli is our best option.
I would say Taylor.
People will
I think-
disagree, but I genuinely think he is our best option.
Defensively, Taylor's my best option, but I'd say go forward, Taylor, probably Bolly, because he's definitely suited more as a wing back than an actual left back.
And I think that's what
Yeah,
that's
by
the
the
way
way,
Celtic
man.
play.
See Bayo, oh my god.
Oh.
Don't, because I swear to God, as soon as we came back and were told that 13 players had to isolate, we should have recalled him.
Aye, we should have. He
Mate,
scored
he
again
scored a
today.
goal within 5 minutes. He got a goal
And
and an assist.
assisted.
I know.
Like,
Jack Kendry got an assist as well today.
mate,
Aye,
is that
aye.
not like 2 goals and an assist in 2 games for him?
Aye.
Aye,
Like,
aye.
This just shows you how big the problem is at Celtic. Players that we don't, or I say we, the club don't rate, are getting shipped out on loan and playing well.
Wait, so you
Players-
rated Jack Kendry?
I'm probably one of the only people that have always rated him, mate. I genuinely think every defender makes mistakes. Every defender makes mistakes.
He was worse than Duffy. You cannot say Duffy. He is worse than Duffy.
The only thing Jack Henry done wrong was try to skin a piece of grass and failed. That was it.
Do you not see the problem here, though?
You know what he is? He's a Scottish Harry Maguire, mate. He's a plot, honestly.
Oh, you've actually nailed it.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire's not actually a bad player, by the way.
He's just overpriced.
When he gets in the ball, right, he runs about in circles with the ball. Jack Henry does the exact same thing. He loses the ball after it and he goes for it.
I will say that Harry Maguire is not an £80 million defender. That's a fact. But he's not a bad defender.
Here, see if Man United play 80 million for Harry Maguire. That surely means Christopher Ayer's 200 million.
Easy. In the Premier League.
Aye.
Easy.
Every career mode I do on FIFA, I signed Christopher Ayer for that £7 million. So that's how good he is.
Yeah, but every time I do it on Football Manager, he plays CDM.
That's true. Although, I think I would be class at CDM. Just because his first thought when he gets the ball is to move that ball forward. He just strolls forward with that ball as well. I wonder
He's
if
so
that's.
good at driving with it.
I wonder if you try that out with him one day. Just Julian and Welsh behind him, with him doing a sort of sorrow role.
I would love to see Ayer play midfield. I would absolutely love it.
I'd love to see him play striker as well.
You what?
Yeah, I'd love to see him play striker.
Why? Why?
I just imagine, like, long balls. No, I'm being deadly serious here.
Duffy's long balls up to Ayer.
No, but like, Ayer just hits him with power. You seen his penalty? Just power. Nothing but power. Imagine him up top. He'd be better than Eddie for a start.
It's not difficult.
Do you not agree with me though? Do you not think he'd be class up top?
No, I don't agree at all. I think that's quite absurd actually.
Alright.
I think I would love to play my full season at right back.
Imagine insisting goals would be better than Frimpong. And Frimpong's a good player. I do rate Frimpong, but I think Ayer at right back's better than Frimpong at right back.
I don't rate Frimpong.
I know.
All he can do is run.
And he takes his man on. You know when
Yeah,
you're crying for someone to take your man on.
But
Frimpong does it 9 times out of 10.
how does he do that though? He runs.
He takes him on.
He knocks the
Scotland
ball
went
past
over.
him and runs. That's it.
Aye, but he still takes the man on.
Sorry, right. There's a rumour just came out about Dubai. Apparently Duffy got caught with a hooker. Out a ball, bro.
That's how he went home early. To go back to his life and
I
I
explain
mean,
that
he
one.
did say it was family issues. Divorce.
Definitely.
By a hooker, did he mean lax salt?
You never know.
Oh man, that's absolutely part. Yeah, I've seen a lot of rumours about that. To be fair, but you know, at the end of the day, we're never going to get the truth, are we?
Kyle just left us.
Has he actually?
I think so, yeah.
I bet his internet's cut off. Be full. Anyway, we're actually getting to that stage where we'll wrap it up. We'll do a quick prediction for the game away to Livi on Wednesday. We'll do 2 predictions. We'll have one based on some first team players playing, and we'll do one based on a full squad because we don't know what the lineup's going to be like. So we'll start with Billy. So I'll take a score with some players back, and I'll take a score with a full squad.
With the full squad, I think, honestly, I'm probably going to get another point, probably a 1-1 or another 0-0. I think Livingston will take all 3 points if we've got like just a similar squad like we did today.
Great confidence, mate. Cheers. Kyle, we'll go to you next, mate. Prediction for Wednesday, one with a sort of now squad, maybe a couple of first team and one with a full squad.
Right. Well, a couple of us gonna 1-0 Livi. And then with a full squad, I think it would be like a 2-0 Celtic.
Aaron?
I think I'm going to go with Kyle with the just squads, a 0-0. But if we've got a full team out, I think it could be a 2-1 game. But I think it'll be very close, no matter what the squads are. It'll be a similar game today, I think, quite scrappy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think we're going to win it either way. I don't know
Have your
why.
confidence.
I just have a feeling. I think a lot of it is going to come down to the fact that we've just recently played them at home. We've not got the result we wanted, so we're going to be looking to turn around and say, well, actually, we should be winning these games, which we should be anyway. I think with a reduced sort of squad, we're looking at a narrow win, maybe 2-1, 1-0. But I think with a full squad, we'll 3-1,
3-1
4-1
well.
sort of result. As long as Eddie's not playing, if Eddie's playing, then we'll probably get beat. But
You hate that guy.
if they play Griff
That's
and Eddie, I reckon we could be looking good. But let's face it, if any of the players that are coming out of isolation aren't going to be fit, it's going to be Griff.
Exactly. He just sat eating his tea cakes. There's no way he worked out during lockdown. Well, during his isolation.
So I suppose we'll see what happens. It'll be good to sort of go from there. Hopefully pick up 3 points, and I suppose we'll have another podcast on Wednesday once the game's finished.
Hopefully it's positive. I don't think we've had a proper positive podcast yet.
I don't think we have either, mate. Have we won a game since we started this? Maybe that's the problem.
Maybe we need to take a few weeks off.
But no, that's sound. I shall see you all on Wednesday.
Right, Damien, before you go, do you have any shout outs to make today?
Behave yourself.
That's sound. Right. See you all later.